Ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at the iPhone 14 Pro. I have it here in my hands. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick look at the internals, the new specs, obviously the new features, so the dynamic island. We're also going to be taking a closer look at the new display, the new eSIM, and basically all the new features with the iPhone 14 Pro that are available this time around for Apple season. So we're gonna unbox this. We're actually gonna unbox this really quickly. So I'm gonna show you guys, what's it like inside, what comes with the box, what you can expect from the iPhone 14 Pro. We're gonna take a closer look at that, and once we do that, I'll come right back, and then we're gonna talk about the details and the specifics of it. So stick around, guys. We're gonna jump right into it. Alright guys, so here we have it. This is the overhead shot. We're gonna be unboxing the 14 Pro. Pretty simple. Like usually you have like the standard, pull tabs here, so you take those out really quickly. So yeah guys, this is 14 Pro in deep purple. Open it up right here. Oh wow, that looks good. That is nice. Oh my god, camera bump is massive. I have a feeling it's a little bit bigger than on the 13 Pro. It has to be. I just really want to give you guys like a closer look here. You can see with the light how it looks. Really like a nice deep purple to it. I mean, the name doesn't lie. It definitely is deep. That's exactly how you could qualify this, deep purple. Let's take a closer look. We're gonna take it out of the box here. As you can see, phone right here. And as per usual, the unboxing experience with these new iPhones is relatively always the same. You have the lightning cable here, lightning to USB-C, and then you have obviously designed by Apple in California. And here we're gonna have a white sticker. Oh, what a shame. If only we had the purple sticker, would have been nice. And then you have the SIM card. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. Taking a closer look at the deep purple here. That looks really nice. I really like this purple. I think it's really nice. It's definitely a statement color, so obviously when you're gonna be looking at this one, you'll be like, well, that's the 14 Pro. For the most part, guys, on like a lot of aspects, it doesn't look that much different from the 13 Pro, obviously. Let's pull the tab here. And here we go, 14 Pro. Let's take a closer look. I'm gonna bring it up a little closer to you guys. You can see the pill at the top. It's there, so it's definitely like part of the phone, and you can't miss it. But they've implemented really nice software this time around, so you're gonna be able to use it and have a pleasant experience. So let's power it on. Pretty simple. So I'm gonna set this up, and we're gonna jump right into the video, and I'll catch you guys in a bit. So I set up the phone really quickly, and I was going through all the options. And before I jump into this video any further, guys, the camera bump has officially become a little bit bigger than the 13 Pro. I think I'm gonna give you guys a picture, like a side by side with the 13 Pro on screen, and you can see a little bit the difference. It's obviously not massive, it's not huge, but the difference is there, so they're slightly bigger. On the aspect of the cameras, we're now looking at a 48 megapixel main camera. Honestly, awesome. I think it's been long overdue since we've been waiting for this 48 megapixel camera. We've seen 48 megapixel cameras on other phones such as Samsung and other phones from Android, but now we finally get it into the Apple products. And I gotta admit, guys, before we jump into any of the specifics, into any of the details, let's take a closer look at this deep purple colorway. So as you can see, guys, I have it here. I'm shining it with the light. I don't know if you guys can see it that clearly. I'll have some close-up shots, obviously, so you guys can get a better view of that. But this deep purple is honestly really nice. It's so different from what we're used to seeing from Apple. And as I did a video probably like 6 days ago, I think, or maybe a week now, where I was talking about all the new stuff that was gonna come from Apple. So if you guys want to check that video out, you guys can go do so. But in that video, I was mentioning how this deep purple is really reminding me of a phone from Samsung, more specifically the S22 Ultra. And I think that this color scheme specifically really resembles that Samsung kind of vibe in some way. I really hate saying the word vibe because it's so outdated, but I'm trying to get my point across, right? So this deep purple has really a nice feature to it. It's really special, and in some way it's very Apple-esque, but it's also very different at the same time. So you're getting something kind of interesting, kind of eye-catching. That aside, for the most part, obviously you got this matte finish here. So this is pretty standard with all the Pro models. We've seen this with the last phone, so the 13 Pro. That's a matte finish as well. And other than that, like, for the most part, this deep purple really hits in some way. It's very nice. Now, obviously, you still have, you guys are probably gonna notice you still have the SIM card slot here. This is for obviously your SIM card, but I think a lot of you guys are pretty familiar with the fact that now you can have eSIMs. So essentially, really quickly, the concept of eSIMs, you can have your previous phone, say you buy the new 14 Pro and your last phone was a 12 Pro or 13 Pro or whatever you were using before. You can transfer your SIM card electronically on this new phone, so technically you wouldn't need a physical SIM card anymore, and that's a feature that's available with the 14 Pro and with the iPhone 14, which I now also have and I will be reviewing on the channel soon enough. But that aside, so let's take a closer look at the 14 Pro. We're gonna go, again, usually in typical fashion on this channel, I usually go from the outside, so the looks of the phone, what's new on the outside, and then we're gonna get into the specifics and the internals of the phone. So for the most part, the display is kind of the same. I already have a couple fingerprints on it, guys. I'm so sorry. It's so hard not to get fingerprints on these things. They're a magnet for these. They're a magnet for fingerprints, but it is what it is. Here, what you guys are looking at is the regular 6.1-inch display. For the most part, I don't think you can really tell with this wallpaper, but there's an island at the top. So what I'm gonna do for you guys, I'm actually gonna download a wallpaper that's very light. That should be better for you guys. So here we're taking a closer look at the always on display. As you can see, it gets dark and the time is still there. Obviously, if you have widgets, if you have all of that new stuff that comes with iOS 16, it will pop up on screen. It'll show you. This is what it looks like when the always on display is on. And then this is when you turn it on. As you can see, colors come right back. Island at the top, and you're looking at all the features. Quickly here, if you notice, there's an SOS. So see, there you go. I just let it go to sleep. It turns down. One feature though, if you put the phone face down, actually, then you will notice that the screen will not stay on, so it'll detect the fact that it's facing downwards and the screen will completely shut off. A lot of people have been kind of skeptical about the always on display. Guys, it's just a feature. You can disable it on the phone if you wish to do so. On the topic of the screen, so here you're gonna try and unlock. I didn't set up my Face ID yet, so I'm gonna put in my passcode, but there you go. See, island at the top. Now downloading some of the applications that I typically use, but I'm gonna give you guys a kind of like a quick rundown of the display. It gets really bright, so you're looking at indoor lighting. You're getting at 1600 nits, very good. I think it's in terms of comparison to the 13 Pro, the upgrade isn't that much more significant. So I think the 13 Pro had a 1500 nits, and this one is looking at 1600 nits indoors, which is great. Outdoor performance though has improved significantly, so you're looking at 2000 nits of brightness outside, which is quite fantastic. A lot of the times I find, mostly in the past, like previously with other iPhones, because I had the iPhone 10 and then I had the iPhone 7, and those iPhones, when I was outside, I could never see anything on the phones. Now naturally with the last phone that I had, the 13 Pro, that was not a problem that I experienced. With the 14 Pro, if you were looking into buying this product, it is definitely not going to be a problem for you guys. I highly doubt that you're going to have a problem with the brightness. So on the topic of everything that you see physically on the screen, obviously there's the whole punch out at the top, a dynamic island as they call it. And one thing that I always noticed, and I noticed in the last phone, I don't know if people noticed, but it's very, very discreet, very small. And I actually talked about this feature on a Samsung video that I have on my channel. The speaker cutout here for where you're speaking on the phone has gotten even slimmer this time around. It's even smaller than on 13 Pro. It's a little longer, it's a little wider. Obviously, it's more discreet. You barely see it on the display, and I think that's great. Samsung S22 has done that, and it's practically invisible on their phones, and I think they did a fantastic job with it. So now let's get into the dynamic island, the famous dynamic island. How does it work? What can you do with it? So basically, it's just a way for you to interact with the phone in a better way. So it allows you to really maximize the screen. So as you can see, there's no more notch per se. So the 13 Pro had a significant notch at the top, and you couldn't use that spot, right? But now the dynamic island, what they've decided to do is let's implement this in the software and let's make it useful. So for example here, let me up the brightness to the top so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So if I open music here and I go on my library, let's say, and I want to play a song, so I'm going to take this song and I'm going to start playing it, and I'm not going to play it too loud because I don't want to get copyrighted, but say I play the song right now. So it's playing on the phone, and essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to swipe up, it's going to pop all the way at the top, and it's going to show you what's happening. So it's going to show you the song and then the fact that the song is actually playing. So I think that's a very interesting and very efficient way of using the screen and the display of the, you know, pretty much the screen, the real estate on the screen, using everything, maximizing the whole display. And so now whenever you want to interact with the dynamic island, you just have to tap on it and it brings you right back to the application. So when you're done, you just bring it back up and it shows up at the top. Very simple. It's very linear in some way. It's very, you know, noob safe. It's not very complicated. You're gonna get the hang of it pretty quickly. And then it just pretty much depends on how you want to use it. So for example, let's say I'm playing a song right now and I'm kind of busy. I want to tap on clock and I want to put myself a timer. I'm gonna put myself a 20-minute timer. That's activated. I'm gonna swipe up and it's gonna appear at the top. So it's gonna show me here your song is playing and you also have a timer that's going on, and then you can get back to browsing on the phone or whatever you were doing. So let's say you were just like on Pinterest or anything, you were scrolling or you were doing some surfing on the net, you can get back to doing that without a problem. So let's say you want to open a tab here, you're gonna see they're still at the top, and you can get back to whatever you were doing. So guys, now all of the features that were pretty much on the display at the top, let's look a little bit into the internals. We're looking at this A16 Bionic chip. It's a spec upgrade from the A15 Bionic chip. Now naturally with the A16 compared to the A15, you're gonna get better performance. There's more cores of CPU in the actual chip. Obviously this is Apple's new flagship phone with their new flagship chip. So you're gonna get the best performance. This is probably the best of the best right now on the market. As I mentioned, in terms of internals, you also have the 48 megapixel camera, main camera, which is gonna be awesome for like really nice detailed photos. I think the raw pictures on this is gonna look absolutely fantastic and I can't wait to test it. So guys, stick around on the channel. I'm gonna be doing a day in the life with the 14 Pro soon enough. I really wanna work on that. I've been trying to implement those on the channel lately. It's been a little hard, but I'm working on it. You're obviously getting the same specs as last year in terms of storage. So you're starting at 128 and you can go all the way up to 1 terabyte. Right here in my hand, I have the 1 terabyte one. So this is gonna allow you to shoot videos in ProRes. ProRes is a very dense format of shooting videos. It's the best quality you can get on the phone at the very moment. And shooting in ProRes is gonna definitely take up a lot of storage. So obviously that's only enabled for, I think, the 512 and up. So 512 and 1 terabyte options. If you get those phones, you're gonna be able to use the actual ProRes. So yeah guys, I think for the most part, the buttons are pretty much the same. They haven't changed. I think the power button might be a little lower than on the 13 Pro. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure. This is kind of like me trying to nitpick at all the little details. So yeah guys, this is pretty much the iPhone 14 Pro. Obviously there's a lot more to cover. I'm gonna be having an in-depth video soon enough on the channel. As I mentioned, day in the life would be awesome. Let me know guys what you think of the 14 Pro. I almost said 13 Pro. Let me know what you guys think of the 14 Pro. Come on. Alright guys, so let me know what you think of the 14 Pro. I think it's a nice phone. It's definitely it definitely holds its ground as the flagship phone of this year for Apple, and I think this is gonna be awesome. I think people are gonna be picking this up. I think the island is gonna become pretty useful, and I think they're gonna be implementing it with a lot of apps, so you're gonna be able to just really use it all the time, and it's gonna become pretty convenient. It's gonna become like, you know, just like second nature to use the island and just throw things up all the way at the top. So yeah, that's pretty much about it for the 14 Pro. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna have a video soon on the 14, the regular 14, the blue one. It's gonna be coming up on the channel as soon as I can. I need to get to work on those videos, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. iPhone 14 Pro, that's been it on my behalf, and I will see you guys on my next video. And as always, I wish you guys the best of luck in everything you do, and I'll see you in the next one. Deuces. Why you all want me? Why you all want me?